Hi everybody, welcome back to Jenkins Boat Works. I am Chuck Jenkins, and in this video we're going to continue working on the Freedom 17, this strip-built canoe that we've been working on for the last 2 months or so. I believe there's going to have to be 2 episodes on this because I'm going to go into great detail about how we get ready to put on the next strip, and then also actually putting it on, gluing it on, and clamping it down. So there's quite a bit that goes into it. Once you go to put the strip on, that's the easy part. It's getting it ready that's the trick. So we're going to go into some detail. We're going to use the Robo Bevel, Nick Schade's product. And we're not doing bead and cove, and I'll just say it right now. I know that there are 2 hard schools of thought on this, and I just don't use the bead and cove. I prefer to bevel as I'm going. So it's a personal choice, and neither's right or wrong. It's just that's how I'm doing it. So if you're looking for a bead and cove video, this is not it. If you're looking for a possible alternate way of doing it, this is it. Anyway, we're glad you're here. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Consider subscribing. This is an ongoing project, but we have other projects we're going to be working on as well. In fact, I have 3 or 4 different boat projects, a couple of little restorations that we're going to be doing as we continue on. We still are a long way from being done with this canoe, so we're going to have multiple episodes yet on this. But there's always something going on here in the boat shop. So anyway, again, glad you're here. Consider subscribing, and let's jump in. We are about 7 strips up on this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 5th one up is mahogany. And so we got an accent strip there. And I'm real happy with the way this is going so far. Now we're trying to do this stapleless. You'll see 1 staple on the 2nd strip there, but there are no other staples in here except on the shear strake. And that had to be on there just to get us started. Part of the reason you would use staples is if you were trying to go faster and glue up more than a couple of strips a day, and also if you were having trouble keeping the strips next to the stations and keeping them tight. We are just doing wonderful in that regard. We're staying real close to the molds on both sides actually. And of course, we're still in the relatively easy part. When we come up into this hard curve in the chine here, that's gonna present more problems. But we are using the Robo Bevel that we got from Nick Schade, Guillemot Kayaks, and it's just a wonderful tool. It's actually down here in my little cart right there. We'll do some video of using that. But the idea behind it is that you can get on the tops of these strips and basically get a progressive bevel all the way down there just by holding the thing up against the molds, and then creating a bevel on the top of the strip here that allows that next strip to come lay in there so that it's gonna hold tight against these molds. Now I haven't done it on this one, we just took the tape off of this side. And it's one of those deals you just kind of got to take your time with, but it's actually slightly satisfying, I think. And we put this strip on last night. We still got it clamped and taped. And again, on this side, it's just going so neatly up against the molds. See, on here, I didn't even have a clamp on there. It's just right on it. So it's all coming quite well. Now, there's, you know, the two main schools of thought on this are use the Robo bevel and work on each strip as it's coming along, or bead and cove your strips, and it's just not something I've ever done. I am fearful of the router bit making maybe too thin a wall for the, I don't know, it just seems like a way to mess up a strip to me. I got enough problems with these strips with keeping them straight. So, and that can spark a lot of debate, and we may get into a big thing on the comments. You know, it's the old question about the Rolling Stones, who's better, Mick Taylor or Ron Wood? Everybody's got their opinion, but quite honestly, with this beveling tool, I'm just really happy with it. We'll do a little bit of video as we use it so that you can see how that goes. This is still fairly straight up and down, so I won't have to take hardly any off of here, but hopefully you can see how that I just carry a little screwdriver around with me to just clean this out. It builds up in there pretty fast. Some people find that a little bit annoying. It's not bothering me. Now, something I noticed is right there on the inside. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little lip right there. So we're gonna have to get that off of there, because if I go to lay that strip in there, it's not going to be able to lay down flat and stay up against the frame. It's going to want to pick up like that as opposed to laying down. So one of the things I've been doing after I get done with this is I've been coming back with a little bit of sandpaper, just making sure I don't have any little places like that are lifting off. And I think part of the reason that might happen is because this little Veritas plane that fits in here, this dude is got a 1/4 inch blade, exactly. So this is a 1/4 inch wide right here. And so if your strip's a 1/4 inch wide, that's great. But this strip, if it's even a 32nd wider than that, which it could be right there, it's not catching that part of that. So that's something you want to kind of pay attention to. Now, a lot of guys would maybe plane, just run through the plane or their strips. I did not. I felt like I was getting really good strips off of the saw. See, you can see it sticking up right there. Let's try to get that off of there. The other thing you kind of got to do is this has got a bit of a curve to it here. So you got to kind of hold this so that you're making sure and catching the blade down on the wood. If you hold it straight like that, you can run along there and not have that blade touch at all. So it takes a little bit of getting used to. But it's one of those deals where you just take your time, and it really is, there's something very satisfying about it. And I'm glad that these strips down here are still pretty straight up and down, so I'm not having to take too much of an angle back in here. But when we get up into here, I mean, you're going to see how that bevel's going to lay. That's going to be quite a bit to take off of there. But we're only coming up every inch, so it will be progressive as well. Then, of course, we'll test fit the strip and just make sure it's going to lay in there right, dry fit it before we ever put any glue on. And, yeah, loving this. You can get this from GuillemontKayaks.com. This is just a free plug for Nick. Nick's a great guy. I met him at the Wooden Boat Show a year and a half ago, and if you haven't seen his YouTube channel, it's just absolutely awesome. He is the master craftsman when it comes to strip building, especially kayaks. So I'd encourage you to check that out. I think that he's selling this now with the plane. When I got it, well, maybe almost 2 years ago, I didn't know that it didn't come with the plane, and so I kind of felt stupid when I went to go to use it. I was like, wait a minute, what am I missing here? Anyway, so I ordered this from Veritas, and it's a super high quality deal. It's got little adjustments here and here. This one adjusts the blade down like that. This one clamps it down, and you kind of got to play with it just to see how it's going to act when you start using it. Yeah, it's awesome. It really is great. Oh, that was a good one. Got a little square sanding block, but then I put another piece of like 80 grit on here and allowed me to get right in there. You gotta be careful you don't go crazy. Doesn't need much. We're just touching up where we planed it. Making sure we don't have any of those little ridges. See, there's one right there, a little ridge. So I'm kind of trying to match my strips up one side to the other, so we've got some uniformity, some symmetry, and we just took all the clamps off. You can see I've got them all up on the top of that batten in the middle, so they're right there ready for me when I need them, and I don't have to go hunting for them. Clamps are with the cleats, everything's ready to go. This is the strip I'm going to use next. And what I do is I lay it out on the floor so I can see if it's got any natural bend to it. See up there at the end how it's curving off to the left? We're going to use that to our advantage because we know that the ends slope down. So I'm going to take that over to the other side and we'll put what is the left side next to the crack there will be matched up on top of the most recent strip that we just got done fairing out with the Robo plane, and then I went and sanded off any little edges and got it pretty smooth. So now we'll dry fit it and see how it lays in there. Once we do that, assuming that it fits in all right, we'll glue it down.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.